Chapter 12 To Magan Lal Gandhi. After March 14, 1915. Bhai Shri M. You are right in what you think about non-violence. Its essentials are Daya, Akrodh, Aman, etc. Satyagrah is based on non-violence. We saw this clearly in Calcutta and came to the conclusion that we should include it among our vows. The thought led to the further conclusion that we must observe all the yamas and that, if we do so by way of vows, we perceive the inner significance of non-violence. In my talks with hundreds of men here, I placed the various yamas above everything else. I remembered this verse in Calcutta on this occasion and pondered deeply over it. I am absolutely clear in my mind that India's deliverance and ours will be achieved through the observance of these vows. In observing the vow of non-hoarding, the main thing to be borne in mind is not to store up anything which we do not require. For agriculture, we may keep bullocks if we use them and the equipment required for them. Where there is a recurring danger of famine, we shall no doubt store food grains, but we shall always ask ourselves whether bullocks and food grains are in fact needed. We are to observe all the yamas in thought as well, so that we shall grow more secure in them from day to day and come to think of fresh things to renounce. Renunciation has no limit to it. The more we renounce, the more shall we grow in the knowledge of the Atman. If the mind continues to move towards renunciation of the desire for hoarding, and if in practice we give up hoarding as far as it is physically possible to do, we shall have kept the vow of non-hoarding. The same is true about non-stealing. Non-hoarding refers to stocking of things not needed. Non-stealing refers to the use of such things. If I need only one shirt to cover myself with but use two, I am guilty of stealing one from another. For a shirt which could have been of use to someone else does not belong to me. If 5 bananas are enough to keep me going, my eating a 6th one is a form of theft. Suppose we have a stock of 50 limes, thinking that among us all we would need them. I need only 2, but take 3 because there are so many. This is theft. Such unnecessary consumption is also a violation of the vow of non-violence. If with the ideal of non-stealing in view, we reduce our consumption of things, we would grow more generous. If we do so, actuated by the ideal of non-violence, we would grow more compassionate. In assuring, as it were, every animal or living thing that it need have no fear on our account, we entertain compassion, love for it. A man who entertains such love will not find any living being inimical to him, not even in thought. That is the most emphatic conclusion of the Shastras and my experience as well. The principle underlying all these vows is truth. By deceiving oneself, one may refuse to recognize an act of stealing or hoarding as such. Hence, by taking careful thought, we can ensure at every step that truth prevails. Whenever we are in doubt whether a particular thing should be stored or not, the simple rule is not to store it. There is no violation of truth in renunciation. When in doubt about the wisdom of speaking, it is the duty of a man who has taken the vow of truth not to speak. I want all of you to take only such vows as each one feels inclined to of his own free will. I always feel that vows are necessary, but everyone may take them only when he himself feels the need and take only such as he wants to. Ramachandra may have been a man of great prowess, performed innumerable feats, and killed hundreds of thousands of monsters, but no one would think of him today if he had not had such devoted men as Lakshman and Bharat to follow him. The point is, if Ramchandra had no more than extraordinary strength as a fighter, his greatness would have been forgotten after a while. There have been many brave warriors who killed monsters as he did. There has been none among them whose fame and greatness are sung in every home. Ramchandra possessed power of some other kind which he could induce into Lakshman and Bharat, and in virtue of which the latter became great men of austerities. Singing in praise of their austerities, Tulsidas ji asked, who else, if Bharat had not been born and practiced austerities, unattainable even by great sages,
would have turned an ignorant man like him to Rama? This is as much as to say that Lakshman and Bharat were the guardians of Ram's fame, that is, of his teaching.
Moreover, austerities are not everything. For if Lakshman went without food or sleep for 14 years, so did Indrajit. But the latter did not know the true significance of austerities which Lakshman had learnt from Rama. On the contrary, he possessed a nature which inclined him to misuse the power earned through austerities, and so came to be known merely as a monster and suffered defeat at the hands of Lakshman, the man of self-mastery, a lover of God and seeker of deliverance. In the same way, however great the idol of Gurudev, if there is no one to implement the idol, it will remain hidden in the profound darkness of the ages. Conversely, if there are any to put it into practice, it will spread its light multiplied many times over. The steps which one has to climb in order to practice an idol constitute tapas. One should realize, therefore, how very necessary it is to bring tapas, discipline, into the life of children. No new words. Satyagrah, a policy of passive advocated by Mahatma Gandhi against British rule. Equipment, the necessary items for a particular person. Renounce, formally declare one's abandonment of possession. Consumption, the using up of a resource. Extraordinary, very unusual or remarkable.